Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, I talk about crowdfunding, and today I want to talk about success. And I also want to talk about you. So when it comes to success, achieving more success in your life when it comes to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding, coming out with a new product, or just persisting with that dream, that project you've been thinking about for days on end, how do you bring this into reality? And also share just a couple of different stories as it relates to that. So we're talking about that in today's video. If you haven't yet, give me a thumbs up on this video, show some love, leave a comment down below, come subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and let's get right into it. So there are so many different ways in order to get started with a new project, right? Am I right? And one of the most common ways is to kind of intellectualize everything. And this starts with the business plans, right? This starts with blueprints. It starts with just thinking everything through in your head in a very intricate format. And one of the things that's just so frustrating, so difficult to do when you're doing that is to really take action. So in my experience, success is much more based in emotions. And here's why. Success is based in persistence. It's based in pushing through obstacles. So the first thing I want to talk about in the success formula today, when it comes to achieving more success in your life, is emotions, okay? And how that relates to persistence. Now, why are we talking about emotions? Why are we talking about business and emotions and all these things, man, right? The reason why is that when you are very clear on what you can do when it comes to a new project, when it comes to putting out a new product, when you're clear on the result that's gonna have on other people, the way it's gonna impact the world, the way it's gonna change other people's lives, it starts to pull you towards that goal. And I will tell you, of all the hundreds of coaching students that I've had over the years, the hundreds of guests that I've had on my podcast, the thousands of projects that I've helped directly and indirectly, it's all about persistence, moving through obstacles, pushing past barriers. And that doesn't start with intellectualizing, right? And thinking through things with big, elaborate business plans and that kind of stuff. That is important. There's a time and place for that. It's very important thinking about the logistics behind fulfilling a product. However, when you're getting started with a new project, what's really going to determine whether or not you persist is, are you passionate about this, right? Emotional, passion, right? So when I say emotions, what I'm really referring to is your passion. Are you freaking passionate about this project or are you not, right? And you know how I kind of know about that? That's kind of where, at least for me, I've tried to do a bunch of different businesses in my life, and anytime I've been not so passionate about it, not so excited about it, it's never really succeeded because I've never been able to stick with it because I'm not excited about it enough. It's not interesting enough to me. So whether you're doing a board game, whether you're doing a new product, whether you're writing a book, whatever it is, you gotta be passionate about this thing, man. And if you're not, you might want to, number one, consider the impact that you're going to have with this. That really, to me, is kind of what underlies passion, is thinking about the impact. Think about other people. Don't make it just about yourself. Think about the other people that are going to benefit if this exists in the world. How is that going to change their life? It almost creates an ethical obligation to follow through with this if it's going to help other people, right? So think about passion, because that is what's going to allow you to persist and ultimately achieve success in the long term. Number two, when it comes to achieving success, when it comes to achieving more success with crowdfunding, more success in your life, whatever it is, we need to have 100 laser focus on turning your life into a learning center. So I'm talking about getting educated, okay? And there's a lot of different things that come with education. So the more educated that you are, the more that you can understand what's around the next bend, right? For example, if you were a settler trying to go west, let's just say back in the day, and you didn't have a map, it's gonna be really hard. You're not gonna know the terrain. You're not gonna know what's beyond the next mountain. You're not gonna know what's beyond the next bend. The more educated you are, the easier different processes become in your life because you understand the process. And when you understand the process, all of a sudden it eliminates a lot of risk from that process. Think about like stock market investing. If you don't know the first thing about stock market investing, it's gonna seem really risky. But if you actually know a bit about stock market investing, all of a sudden it doesn't seem as risky in a long time horizon. So you need to become educated. Start reading books, start listening to audiobooks, start listening to podcasts, start watching more videos just like this. Surround yourself with education. It can only, if you want to, be like a 5-minute thing every single day. But if you keep your mind on it, you just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep listening, it's gonna start to become ingrained in your head, and you're just gonna naturally understand the process so much better. And you know what that does? Education is power, of course, but it leads to what we call confidence, okay? Confidence. Now, think about the gym. You might not go to the gym, right? I go to the gym sometimes, but I'm not super religious about it. However, when I started to learn more about the gym and the anatomy of the human body, I started to go to the gym more. I no longer was as intimidated because I understood how certain machines work. I understood how certain weights, you could lift certain weights and how to structure a diet and a workout plan, right? The more educated you become about a process, particularly with crowdfunding, the more confidence you are going to gain in that process. And the confidence and the passion begins to push you along. And that's what I call kind of the next step, which I want to get into here, which is the next key, if you had to say a key to success or part of the formula to success, which I have uncovered, is momentum. Now, why is this something that I say is like a key or a formula, or I'm throwing out those different words? It's because I've had the privilege of coaching, like I said, hundreds of people, witness thousands of launches, right? Being able to have hundreds of people on my podcast, being able to speak with so many people around the world, and you start to see commonalities. You start to see how some people are successful and some people are not, right? And these are just some of the things that, man, I was on a coaching call the other day and I just started to think about this because I was talking with this dude who was like, you know what, Sal? I could have had this product made years ago, but I delayed, and I didn't really do any kind of stuff until maybe this year when I discovered your videos, and all of a sudden it was like I had a fire underneath me. I just started taking lots of action, right? A lot of the times we procrastinate in life because we don't have momentum, because there's fear. There's that underbelly of fear, that yellow underbelly of fear, scaly kind of underbelly. When you have momentum, whoo, things get so easy. It's like silky smooth easy in that way. And you know this if you've had momentum in any kind of area of your life, whether that's working out, exercise, diet, any kind of habits you have, working, for example, working long hours, you get momentum when you're doing something repeatedly, and you're seeing micro success, it gets easy. And it feels weird, for example, with me, when I'm not going for a run at least once a week, right? It just feels odd, feels off. So momentum is the key to making this start to have an engine of its own and making progress to your goals every single week. You gotta develop momentum. And momentum comes from taking small action. So I'm gonna call it small, we even say bite-sized. Let's say bite-sized action, okay? Momentum does not come from thinking, does not come from thoughts. I know there's a lot of smart people in my audience, guys. I know you're really smart, right? But it doesn't come from thinking. It comes from taking action. The more action you take, the more momentum you build. The more momentum you build, the easier it gets to take even more action and bigger action. And all of a sudden you're playing poker and you are having to, ante up, and it's like $1,000 ante, and you're okay with that because you've been going from game to game, and you feel good about it, right? And you feel confident about it. You understand, you have the confidence, you have momentum, you have passion for the game, right? Momentum is built through micro actions, taking actions towards your goal. And this could be really small. It could be setting up a Facebook account. It could be getting your website started, right? It could be next week, we're gonna do this. Next week, we're gonna do that. Of all of the things that I provide as a service, as a coach, when it comes to my coaching students, this is probably the number one thing, is that I'm always getting people to take action, and they're reporting to me every single week on the action that they're taking. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like shocking even myself. The fact that I can complete these things that I didn't even think I could do, pushing past the fear and doing it. And the more you push past that fear, the more that you begin to build confidence. And it's a cycle. So the next thing on my list was momentum. Number 4, let's talk about success, man. Success is not had in a vacuum, okay? And this is probably one of the most difficult lessons for me to learn because I do a lot of my own stuff. I'm a writer, I'm a podcaster, I'm a YouTuber, right? I do a lot of my own things, and I've always loved that. I'm a creative type, right? However, this point is one you should take home, and that success is not had in a vacuum, right? It's all about surrounding yourself with the right people, okay? You gotta have the right people on your side, man. You gotta have the right people. And here's why. Business whatever it is you're trying to do in life, you're trying to bring a new project into the world, trying to accomplish something bigger, trying to start a movement, it's not done just by yourself, right? You're not a leader if no one is following you. You need to assemble a team. You have to have the right people right in front of you, right? You have to have the right people on the team. You have to be listening to the right people. And it's kind of strange because back in the day, you maybe couldn't do that. Like the conversations that you would have are behind like closed boardrooms and you could never access that. It was like insider information. Nowadays, you have people like myself, you have other people, you have podcasts, etc. A lot of public information where you can actually hear it directly from the source. You can listen to people on my podcast every single day. That is the reason, my friend, why I started the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast back in 2015. It was because people would not believe me. I was telling you guys the success that people were seeing when it comes to crowdfunding and Kickstarter. I was documenting on my blog. I was writing books about it, but I'm still like, my God, people do not get this, that this is happening. So I started to have those one-on-one conversations with people so you could literally hear it from the horse's mouth what was working with crowdfunding and with Kickstarter, right? You gotta get around the right people. You gotta get the right people on your team. You have to be listening and tuned in to the right voices, and it moves you in a much more positive direction versus if it was just all on yourself and you're not surrounded with the right people. The right people cause you to commit at a much higher level. They raise your standards in that way. And that is one of the keys when it comes to success. Having the right people gives you ideas, gives you different energy, gives you a different way and perspective of thinking about things, gives you that education, and it levels up, kind of what you have around you to be able to achieve even more. So that's the next big one here. Number 5, and I'm gonna be really honest that I think that for the majority of people out there that are intelligent, that are passionate, that have all this kind of stuff we're talking about, confidence even, this is the number one thing that holds them back, okay? So take this with a grain of salt. Number 5 are what I call limiting beliefs, okay? Limiting beliefs.
Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The top campaigns use this trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description.
So the real question is what's holding you back, right? So we'll kind of, let's put this in another color here. The question that I want to ask you is what's holding you back, right? So I had a guy comment on my videos the other day who was saying that this project, after he'd been an alcoholic, revitalized his life and he was able to focus on something new and actually get excited about living every single day and coming to work every single day. And that's how it should be. A great project, something that's new, that you have passion for, that you're educated and learning about, right? That you're building momentum and taking action towards. All of a sudden, it gets exciting. It feels like something is happening in your life. However, once that begins to happen, there's sometimes some things that we'll kind of call self-sabotage that success, okay? And a lot of times, that is honestly what's holding you back. And it could be beliefs about what's possible. It could be beliefs about what you can accomplish or do. It could be beliefs about the fact that your product, no one really actually wants this. And a lot of the times, actually marketing campaigns and the things that we are doing for students, a lot of times it's designed to kind of check those things off. So we talking about somebody, it's like, Sal, I don't know if anyone's actually gonna buy this product, right? So I'm like, well, why are we gonna figure that out at the end of the process? Let's figure that out now. Let's run some marketing tests and let's see, will people buy this product? Let's do it for a fraction of what you would spend doing a major mega marketing campaign, right? Or other things like, Sal, I don't know if people are gonna like this price point. Well, let's identify that limiting belief that's holding you back from actually launching this. Let's test it. Let's get valid data. Let's move the frick on. Right? Let's move forward through that limiting belief. So like I said, a lot of the times, what's holding people back are limiting beliefs, uncertainty, variables that they don't know or understand, and it kind of leaves you in this middle ground where you had momentum, and all of a sudden, you kind of are in free fall, right? Because it's like, oh, I no longer know. I don't have that confidence. I'm not sure anymore, Sal, right? So you need to identify that. You need to make sure that you kind of point that out. And that's done with a lot of coaching sessions that I do, right? Identify that and push through it. Now, sometimes on those coaching sessions, they are business in nature. Other times they're more personal in nature, right? And it's kind of strange, but have you ever had the experience where someone else believes in you more than you do? It's really strange, but when you start to actually hear other people rationalize that and you start to understand, wow, maybe I do have a shot with this, right? You start to believe it even yourself. Or you didn't think this product or you didn't think this thing that you're coming out with actually has any merit, but then you hear other people say, it's like, wow, I'm starting to see proof, right? I'm starting to understand that. And what it is it rewires some of those older beliefs that you maybe had about that product, about you, about what you can create. And all of a sudden, you start to get confidence again. You start to get momentum again, right? So again, this is a process. These are some of the very simple keys to success, and there are a lot more when it comes to this. And these are just a cross-section of commonalities, I would say, from some of the different coaching students that I have. And quite frankly, like I said, sometimes people will struggle with one, maybe they need more education. Sometimes people will struggle when it comes to momentum and taking action. Some people just don't have the right people that are around them and they want access to those kinds of people, right? And sometimes they have things that are holding them back internally that we need to work on. So this is something that I work on when it comes to my one-on-one coaching calls. I also have a group coaching program that's designed to help with a lot of these elements. So I'm going to link down below if you're interested in exploring either of those options. But that being said, whether or not you even take action on that, I got a question for you, right? What do you really need? What needs to be in place? What is holding you back from unlocking that success that you deserve when it comes to you, your life, your project, what you're working on, what you're moving towards right now in your life? What is holding you back from unlocking that potential? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. And if nothing else, I hope that this video just kind of inspired you a little bit, because number one thing that people like my videos for, and I've obviously heard this from calls, I've heard this from comments, I've heard this from emails. Man, I get so many emails nowadays on my website, crowdcrux.com. I open it up so you can actually go to my website, CrowdCrux, and you can shoot me a direct email, and it's flooding my inbox, right? But it's also great because I get to see all these different voices and people who have been lurking and watching these videos. One of the cool things about that is just hearing how we inspire people at CrowdCrux. And that, if nothing else, I hope that you take away some of these things so you can be more inspired about this project. You can be more inspired about your goals and your dreams. And I hope that it does that for you. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.